Let me grab my drinky.
Woohoo!
Just a little.
How's the Evan Williams?
Oh, this is delicious.
It's kind of sweet.
It is. It is kind of sweet. I like it. Mm-hmm.
Cheers, friends.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm drinking Zip Fizz.
It's a fizz. I didn't know that it had caffeine in it.
It's a lot of potassium. Like if you drank 3 of these, you'd have too much potassium.
And what would that do to you?
I don't know.
You just poop. You just piss and poop it out.
Damn.
Like if you did too much, can you do so much that like it's too late? Like you would die?
No. Well, I mean, yeah, but
It's kind of anything, right?
Yeah. that's with water.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you could, but it would take a lot.
Of potassium. What about caffeine?
Oh yeah, that would just make your heart
Just
jump out. You would literally shake so hard before you could even finish it that you'd just have a heart attack before you'd get to the point where it would kill you.
It's a very grim opening to JSB Anime Cast episode 19.
Last time was dehydration.
We're talking about dehydration, which is also why I didn't bring my water today, because I didn't want to forget it.
Oh my god.
And go through that weird dehydration spell where we tried to watch a stage play and I got dehydrated and was like, I'm dying.
Last time on JSB.
So this is the start of JSB episode 19. Vivy, Flourite's Eyes Song.
Correct.
That's the whole title. I'm your host, Pinot Grigio, or Asher, whichever you prefer. Here's Jenny, Tiger Lily, as she was known during the charity clash this weekend. Rob, aka Zen, patriarch of the JSB family.
That's neat.
Known as Tasha on the
Tashu.
the cherry.
Tashu. Why if you don't mind me asking, why Tashu?
So that was my first nickname when I was like 8.
Why?
I don't even remember the reason.
You know, it's my first nickname.
It just stuck with me.
Asser.
That sounds right.
It's very mean. My cousin was very mean. Called me Asser. And then when I was in 3rd grade, or not 3rd grade, jeez. When I was 13 and, you know, being a hooligan, ashtray. Because I was like, yeah, ashtray. Because 1, Asher. 2, I get a lot of butts.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Right?
I hate it.
Wow.
Awful.
I do too.
Am I right, guys?
Actually.
Then I graduated to my AIM era. And AIM era was Tennis Emo Kid 32.
You know what? I see how we got there.
Yeah. Shout out to Tennis Emo Kid 32. And then Pinot Grigio eventually.
My favorite nickname that I wish stuck, like I wish I was one of those people that insisted everyone call me by my nickname, was Fur. F-E-R. Because my first name was Jennifer. I legally changed it to Jenny, but it was Jennifer. And there was a neighbor who called me, you know what, I'm going to call you Fur. You know, because everyone's going to call you Jen, Jenny.
Right.
And then he was like, I'm going to call you Fur. And I was like, I kind of like that.
Yeah.
You want us to call you Fur?
Huh?
Or is that weird?
No. No
Cringe?
one's going to call me Fur.
No?
No one's going to call me Fur. Also,
Well,
legally,
do you want us to call you Fur?
That's okay.
Okay.
Tiger Lily's fine.
There was a really funny video my sister showed me where this girl, she was recording a TikTok of herself, younger sister, and instead of calling her older, it's Filipino, she's Filipino, so calling her older sister Ate, called her by her first name. She was like, hey Catherine, where do you want these vegetables? And like, you didn't see her on screen because she was only recording herself, but you just like hear silence. And then you hear her say, what did you call me? And that's how it would... My sister asked me that. I was like, what would you do if I just called you like Asher one day? I would be like, ugh, I would cringe. Like, you know, nothing... Which is really funny to hear because like Paul, Phil, and Ryan don't have that.
They do not.
They do not call Paul Kuya, you know, or anything like that. But that's how I grew up. So like, I'm so... very much used to it that if she called me by my name, I would be like,
something's wrong.
Yeah, something is definitely wrong. Yeah. Well, that's cool. Nickname sharing, learning it. Why Tiger Lily?
So I actually have a tattoo of it too. That's how much I love Tiger Lily. There's 3 stories I read growing up, and all of them used tiger lilies in very different ways.
Right.
The first one was a story that was like a coming of age short story where a girl she's consoled by her grandfather. She thinks she's really ugly. She's like 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And basically consoles her saying everyone is so beautiful. They all have a flower that represents them. Because he was a gardener. And she's like, no stupid flower has freckles. And then when she wakes up, there's a tiger lily on her pillow.
Oh.
Which they're a flower famous for having freckles.
That's cute.
Yeah.
And the second one, tiger lily was used to send a message. Like it was the princess making her choice of like who she truly loved, kind of a story. So basically just that's one reason. That's the huge reasons why I love tiger lilies. And then of course the tiger lily princess from Peter Pan.
Oh, I love that. These are good stories.
Yeah.
I know I already asked the Zen thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the nickname? Vivy or Diva? This is just a quick touch on it.
I think it's fun that we're talking about names because I think it's super relevant to what we watched. But yeah, I think...
Just as a quick answer, don't elaborate, obviously.
Diva. I think Diva's the nickname.
Oh, interesting. Okay, we'll get to it. Don't worry. Anything y'all have been watching or doing, that's interesting? We'll start with Jenny.
Played the heck out of Dead by Daylight.
I know you have.
I
Wild.
feel like this is your new addiction. I don't know how much you played beforehand.
I played it back in 2018 was the last time I played.
The game has changed a lot since then.
It has. A lot of new killers, a lot of new survivors, a lot of mechanics were changed.
Right.
Graphics have gotten a lot better.
Yes.
It feels a lot more even too. I feel like there was a time where the survivors were too strong.
Yeah,
Another
that
time where the
sucked.
killers were too strong.
That sucked too.
Mm-hmm. Actually, they're still working on it because you can constantly see them still working on it because literally the day of the charity clash, there was one killer taken off for that day or whatever.
Right.
Damn, we didn't get to play the pop star.
Popstar was taken off. They're like, you can buy him, but you can't use him.
Right.
Thanks for understanding.
He's
That's
a
what
fun
the message
killer.
said.
Phil thinks he's lame. I think he's cool.
Everyone we've seen played him was not good.
Damn.
So, yeah. So yeah, played the heck out of Dead by Daylight. Even made a Dead by Daylight workout.
What does that mean?
What?
Yeah.
Were you running for your life?
Kind of.
Oh my god.
So I had 3 people, because I only had 3 people working out, myself and 2 others.
Mhm.
And so one person was, 2 people were always going to do cardio, but 2 different kinds of cardio. And one person had to do the generator work.
Yeah.
So while their generator work was basically planking and doing stuff while planking. So it's like getting their heart rate going, but they have to focus and get their
couldn't do it.
mobility.
I die.
That's fun. That's cool.
It was.
Yeah.
And then another person actually was doing like resistance band sprints. So they were being held back against like the squat rack with a resistance band and doing like sprinting motion. So it was like 30 seconds on, 60 seconds rest for all the exercises. So even while doing the generator work, it's like, you're doing everything. You got 30 seconds. And then the other person was doing like hop over burpees. So they're jumping over a barrier, doing a burpee, and then hopping
That
over
would
it.
kill me.
And it was basically like jump vaulting, right?
Yeah.
So one person's like
I
just
would be
running around
taken
the
by the
map.
killer.
Take me.
Oh, and we also had the person who was sprinting would occasionally unhook somebody, so then they had to lift a plate like this.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun.
And then we all ended with a 30-second holding down a lat pull down bar, and like holding it for 30 seconds.
Oh, for the door.
Door.
I see. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
What is your favorite perk in that game? This is for the DVD fans out there. What's your favorite perk
I
in
love,
the game?
if I had to only play with one perk for whatever reason, it'd be Kindred. Kindred is a
peak perk.
great
I love
teammate
Kindred.
one.
What's that do?
Every time you're on the hook or somebody gets hooked, right? Everyone can see where everyone is and where the killer is for like a few seconds.
Yes.
And then you can kind of see which direction the killer goes to. So then you know, I'm going to skirt this way to go rescue.
Right.
If the killer ever goes to the person who was hooked, it shows them again. So it also lets you know that that person is safe.
Right.
So
Or that person is getting like watched.
right.
So that, you can kind of make the decision like, do I go rescue them now? Do I wait?
Right. Big fan of Kindred. Kindred
Everyone makes it a real team feeling.
Right. Kindred is a Cheryl Mason perk, so Silent Hill.
A lot of cool Silent Hill.
Yeah, it's a Silent Hill perk, so I'm like,
Sure.
yeah, that rocks.
What about yours?
Oh, my favorite perk?
Mm-hmm.
Windows of Opportunity. I'm that guy.
Is that the where you can find vaults and stuff?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Mirror's Edge. It's the Mirror's Edge perk.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I'm running and getting chased, like I know where all the pallets are. Like I can hop over all the walls and stuff and
Right.
do stuff like that. And then of course I have it in combination with Lithe. So whenever I hop a window, I get a speed burst.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
stuff like that. I'm a very loud survivor, not a sneaky one. Was that Shaw wasn't in more games, or we didn't see a game where Shaw was tested her specifically more? Because she's the best stealthy survivor I've ever played with.
Mm-hmm.
She is a master of like just knowing which lockers to hide in, not making noise, not triggering any traps, being aware of all the traps that are like happening,
Mhm.
and like knowing where the killer is. So I don't know. What about you, Rob? You got a favorite perk?
I don't know too many of them since
Right.
like I only have like 5 hours in this game.
Right.
But the one I found really useful as like a new player, I don't know what it's called, but it's the one that lets you see like 3 generators like at the start of the game.
Deja vu.
Deja vu, yeah.
Yeah.
I like deja vu. It
Yup.
helps me like get my bearings when I first get in there, and I'm like, okay, these are some objectives. I know where they are.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of feel it out from there.
When we were practicing, like Derek or Phil would occasionally be like, "Where the fuck are the generators?" And I'd be like, "You know, you want to have this problem if you had deja vu." Like it's so good. It's such a good perk.
Cool. And then like those generators you see, you get a little bit of a boost when you go to remote.
Correct.
Too, right. So
Correct.
It's like, okay, this actually gives me a good objective right
Right.
off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, great perks.
Yeah.
Great perks. But neither of you play killer, so I can't ask you what your favorite killer perk
Nah.
is.
No.
Derek actually was talking about, I think next time we play, I'm gonna see if he's gonna do it, but he said he was going to build a character whose perks were just purely to piss off the killer.
That's so
Of
messed
course.
up. That is a Derek thing to do.
Like one ability to like throw something and it would like create scratch marks too. So you would think the
Have
killer was here.
Have you seen the perk where if you run by a locker, you open and close it?
I haven't seen that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, there's a funny perk where like if you sprint to buy a locker, you open and close it and it generates the noise
yeah,
icon
yeah.
for them. So when the killer goes, they're like, they're in here. Huh? It's really dumb. It's like not good, you know?
Right.
But like
It's goofy though.
yeah, but if you know what you're doing and you see people, it's definitely like a BM perk. Like
Mhm.
I just saw him do that stupid idiot.
What is BM?
What's this? Wait, I'm having deja vu.
That's a perk that he was.
Wait,
Where are the generators, Asher?
wait, has this has happened, right?
What are you talking about?
In a past,
We're not messing with you.
I might be, but I don't know.
Rob doesn't.
we are going to go. I'm going to rewatch some old episodes of JSB anime, and we are having this literal conversation.
How? I never touched Day by Daylight prior to like 2 weeks ago
But I know I've talked about Dead by Daylight.
on the podcast.
I heard Project kept saying like BM and I was like, what is BM? I asked Paul too, he didn't know.
I feel like we've had the same exact conversation.
Bowel
That you
movements.
asked what
Bowel movement.
that you and you might have said that too.
Basic
I'm like getting
maneuvers.
shook right now.
Oh my god.
Like
Grave mockery.
Ooh.
what does
Fine.
BM stand for?
I would
I
take
don't
that
know.
I actually don't know what BM stands for, but like it's essentially just like taunting.
Griefing.
Yeah, griefing.
I don't know what it means.
Griefing's a word?
Yeah.
Yeah, like making someone frustrated
Oh.
more than like it's kicking someone while they're down.
Yeah.
Like teabagging?
Yes.
Yeah, teabagging is definitely BM.
Never heard it before.
I
I
never
just
really
say
heard the term.
taunting. I just say
I
taunting.
never really heard
Yeah,
the
if you
term
stand in front of the gate and the killer's like clearly can't get you and you point at them and you do like all kinds of stupid stuff in front of the gate, crouch taunting, you know, like that's BM, man. It's messed up. Killer's a single player.
Yeah, I'm not the type to do that stuff because I don't think that's funny. I'm just like, I'm gonna die. If I do that, I'm going to die.
Right.
I'm gonna hit the wrong button and be like,
Right.
oh shit, I moved my hand too far to the left.
You're gonna fuck around to find out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's BM.
Okay.
So yeah, anything else, or is it just your Dead by Daylight addiction?
We went to a bunch of cons actually.
We did since last time we recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Con season in full swing.
Yep.
Right.
We went to AFO.
Mm-hmm.
It was their first time having it at Rosen Plaza.
Mm-hmm.
So AFO was in Orlando.
Mhm.
And they booked it the same weekend there was a teenagers convention.
Yeah.
What the heck is teenagers?
So teenagers are between ages 13 and...
Oh no, I know, but like, what do you mean teenagers convention?
Exactly what it sounds like.
It was the Young Future Leaders of America convention.
Oh, okay, that's
So there were 15,000 teenagers in Orlando for this convention. And a lot of them were at the Rosen Plaza. So that pool was a teenager summer block party.
oh.
So we...
And then there were weirdo cosplayers around too.
No, they were the cool ones.
Oh, I
But
see.
no one went in the pool. No one even hung around the pool because the teenagers were everywhere.
I see.
They were like ants at a picnic.
They were everywhere.
I'm glad I didn't go.
Yeah, honestly, we did not miss out. We saw a couple panels, took notes about ways we could do for our panel.
Any good
Was there-
panels?
Was there any interesting ones? Because I was looking at the schedule and I didn't really see anything that was.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah.
Honestly, the panels kind of felt... The content wasn't strong.
Mhm.
And
I
then
see.
I think the con goers were also very scattered.
I see.
Also, everything cost extra money too. So I think some people thought that certain panels they couldn't go to them because they were inside something that cost extra money to go to.
That's weird.
Yeah, so it wasn't an all-inclusive fee. It was like if you wanted to go to the rave,
Mm-hmm.
$25,
Right.
which I was like, that's a quarter of my entire fee to get here.
Yeah. And I know like both of the burlesque shows were $20 each.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And, like I know Holiday Matsuri, that's always a fun event to do.
Right.
So,
But that's a free one. That's
and
included.
that's a free one.
Yeah.
So like I saw it on the schedule for this one. I was like, oh, maybe I'll do like a burlesque show after the market's over. And then it was like $20 entry. I'm like, nope. I'm
Yeah,
good.
no.
Yeah.
And that area wouldn't have just like the show or the rave or whatever.
Mhm.
There'd be other things going on that were
Right.
con activities, but you still had to pay that fee to go and do them.
It's
Right.
so weird.
Yeah. It was bad staging, bad like crossover too with the teen convention.
Right.
So just all in all wasn't the best con I'd ever been to, and I probably won't go again.
Right.
But we still got to hang out with some buddies,
Yeah.
Right.
And hanging out's tight.
Mhm.
It's tight.
Yeah.
We
I
also did.
appreciate the whiskey drop off.
Right.
Dude, I got you.
Saved my life.
Got you guys.
You generally feel the same way about AFO?
Pretty much. It was my first time going to AFO.
Okay.
Yes, same.
Same?
Mhm.
Okay, I've heard about it for so long, and people have been trying to get me to go, but it's always a bad time of the year because I'm at Anime Expo or I'm doing like these other events.
Right.
So I went down there with Ryan because he had a booth at the 18 plus section.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was really let down by it.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
I wasn't impressed by like the dealer's room that they had there. I was like, oh, this is pretty generic, bland stuff, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the panels, I didn't see anything interesting. Like
Mhm.
nothing on the after hours seemed appealing.
Mm-mm.
Right.
Burlesque show was you had to pay to get in. Then I didn't even hear anything about it afterwards. Where like people were like, oh, that was a good show. I was like, what did y'all do?
Right,
Yeah,
right,
I
right.
heard nothing afterwards.
Right. So I don't even feel like I missed anything. So it's one of those events where like I feel like if I went down as just a regular like attendee,
Mhm.
like I probably would have had fun like hanging out with Jenny, Paul, or like you
Right.
and whoever else would have been there,
Mhm.
just like drinking and wandering the halls for the most part.
Right.
But the con itself is just like, I probably
Right.
wouldn't go back
Mm-mm.
without like a strong reason,
Right.
you know?
I'd have to be rolling with like a squad, 8 people. deep
It
or
would be a
something.
squad thing,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
I have some friends in Orlando where it's like, okay, I don't get to see them very often.
Right.
So like if they're like, oh, we're all gonna be up at AFO, that's why.
Right.
That's why I would
Squad
go.
up.
Make
Squad
your
up.
own party.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we seriously sat outside in the pool area. We just had a table and just sat out there and drank
Mm-hmm.
while the kids all took over the hot tub and the pool. And then the rave was happening at the club that was like right next to the pool, so we could see the lights and stuff.
Oh,
And then they had like an outdoor patio that a lot of people from the rave were going outside and like hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
And then so they're right there getting drinks right there, and we're just like, man, the rave is right there, and we have no desire to go. Like
Right.
we're watching from here, and we're like, we can hear the music from here.
yeah.
We can hang out with you guys out here too. Like we don't have to be in there.
It also
Right.
kind of sucked because like that rave room, like right on the other side of that is the 18 plus section
Yeah.
of the vendor room.
Yeah.
So like our backs is literally to that, and like we could just hear the music like all blaring, and like some of it was not great, and it was like causing headaches for some people.
Wow.
Like it was rough for like some of the dealers that were there.
Damn, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give your 18 plus crew some more loving.
There was one girl that was going through it. Like after a certain time, when they started blasting it, she was just like, she was out. Like,
yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, she was having a massive headache. But
that sucks.
Yeah, not great positioning. I feel.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that's from the whole thing.
Yeah.
We didn't miss out. We did see a lot of really good artwork though. Like we came home with quite a few good pieces.
Yeah.
Right.
The wood etchings.
Those are always really cool.
Yeah.
Like,
well, the wood etchings, did you get that from there or did you get it from Bold Matsuri?
I got those from Bold Mat.
Right.
But we got a dungeon meshy piece from there that was like the best one. Which, if you guys start looking for delicious and dungeon artwork, it's gonna become a game of can you see Senshi?
Yeah.
Because for some reason, every art piece that I've seen, Senshi blends in for some reason. I think it's just because his character design.
Yeah.
So we were like straight up looking at a bunch of things. I was like, cool piece, but where's Senshi? And then it's like, oh my god, he's right there. There was one where he was like kind of in the corner on the, like if you're looking at it like this, he was here looking at the food, like kind of serving it to everybody.
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of like, oh, looking at the food.
Right.
But I was like, where's Senshi? Oh, he's here.
That seems like a Senshi bit.
Right. But then he was
funny.
also, there was another one where it was like, everyone's looking at the dish and he's right in the center and we could not see him. We're like, but where's Senshi? Oh, there he is. So I finally got a piece where I was like, Senshi is clearly right there.
Right. Okay.
But it's so funny. Like every piece that I saw, I did not buy them because I'm like, you just can't see Senshi.
Right. That's funny.
I don't think it's on purpose. I think it's the design. Even the artists don't even realize that it's happening.
Right.
That's so silly.
But it could just be his character design. Maybe there's a reason for it, you know? That even the artists are struggling to figure out how to make him stand out.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that's in summary. Yeah, Cons, Dead by Daylight, Moonlighter. I'm playing a lot of that.
What's Moonlighter?
Very Stardew Valley-like game. It's a like a roguelite game, but basically I'm playing it because of Delicious in Dungeon. So you go into dungeons during the night, and whatever you collect, you go and sell in your shop during the daytime.
She said roguelike. I love roguelikes.
Okay.
I think it's the best genre in gaming.
It was very fun.
Anyway, continue.
And so you basically just sell all the things that you gathered from the dungeon, and just try to use the money to upgrade your stuff and get further in the dungeon.
Right.
Which is like Delicious in Dungeon, honestly.
It's a cool game.
Add it to the wish list.
I might have a code. I'll check later.
All right. What about you, Rob?
Any
anime?
So I also went to an event called AFO.
Right.
What, wasn't it Orlando?
Anime Festival Orlando. Crazy.
Is that teenager con?
So many teenagers in like suits and stuff.
Right.
You're looking at us like we were weird.
I know, right? Like, what are y'all doing?
Why do you have bunny ears? Why do you not?
Right.
I watched a couple of anime.
Okay.
I started, so the new season started.
Right.
Watched Shikonoko Noko
Chan. Shikonoko Tan? Nokotan?
This is a... Have you seen clips of like an anime deer girl
No.
anywhere? Okay. This is
We're
like...
watching the OP before we leave, by the way.
Yeah.
Deal.
Yeah. You're not ready for it.
No one is.
It's basically like a slapstick gag anime.
Yeah.
About this...
Can't. All right, well, I'm listening.
You're listening? So the main
Can't hear you
character...
explain this.
So the main character is like this girl. She is an ex-delinquent, but now she's trying to like better herself. Like she is now like the student council president, and she's like the popular one. Blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't want anybody to find out that she used to be a delinquent.
A
Right?
dink.
A dink.
Yeah,
Right?
a dink.
And as she's walking to school one morning, she sees this girl that is hanging up on like this telephone pole, and she has deer antlers. And this girl's like, I'm gonna ignore this and be about my way. And it turns out that this deer girl is really a deer in a human body.
It's hard to explain.
It's hard to explain, but she like immediately knows that this girl is an ex-delinquent and is like basically stalking her at this point, and trying to get her to take care of her.
She's also a classmate, turns out.
She turns out to be a classmate later.
Transfer student.
And just wacky hijinks about this girl that is a deer. And
yeah.
It's total nonsense.
Yeah, it's slapstick anime. Like, it's just silly. It's goofy. They're really going there, huh?
Would you call that edgy?
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm still trying to answer that question.
At one point, she pulls her head off, and there's nothing there.
Yeah, it's empty.
It's empty. She doesn't think.
I'm like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it.
You're like, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird anime, but very funny.
Yeah,
Very goofy.
funny.
Very, very goofy.
Mm-hmm.
It is not anything that I would say like you need to go watch it, but if you're just looking for like a goof ass time,
if you happen to watch it,
it's because we really don't get like slapstick comedies that much.
Not like that.
Not like that. Like the last one we got was like Pop Team Epic.
Right, Pop Team Epic. Nichijou.
Nichijou's another one.
What was the boys club
Daily
one?
Lives of High School Boys.
Yeah, that one I need to see.
And these are like many years apart from each other.
Azumanga Daioh.
Azumanga Daioh.
That's deep ancient cut.
But yeah, so I'm kind of excited for it just because we don't get that genre very often. Aside from that, like obviously I blitzed through Vivy. We'll talk about that later.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's about it for what I'll say this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So my turn, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. Watch more Urusei Yatsura. Yeah, no surprise there. It's a long anime, kinda. Not One Piece long, but good amount of episodes there.
Like 3 seasons, right?
4, I think now.
4.
So it's at 4, and then I think 5th will be the last one.
Which one's this one again?
This is the one about that Oni girl. She's got horns, yeah.
You used to touch them?
Yeah,
Okay.
right. From the person who made Inuyasha and Ranma.
Ranma.
Right, and of course Ranma was announced, and so like
it's the Inuyasha remake.
I don't know. I've never seen Inuyasha. Is it good?
I like it. I don't know if I would say it's like amazing, but I
Is
like it.
Where does it rank among her 3?
It's probably my favorite.
Okay.
But it's probably number 3.
Oh, if you were being like objective about it, or whatever.
right?
Okay.
Like I feel like Ranma half and Urusei Yatsura is like better.
Yeah.
Right. Probably way more popular than Inuyasha, honestly.
You think so?
I think so.
Maybe. Yeah, you might be right.
I think so.
They're definitely like legacy anime.
Yeah.
You know.
I would argue those are probably more successful series than Inuyasha was.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch Inuyasha?
I read it.
Really? Did you like it?
At the time, it was impressionable because I was middle school.
Right.
So it was like, oh, romantic.
Right.
And then-
Everybody falls into that for that series,
when
right?
I watched it.
Mhm.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I haven't gone back to it, so I don't
Same.
know if
It
it's
wasn't
like-
anything as I think back on it. Like, gosh, I could really use that again.
Right.
Yu Yu Hakusho is a better love story than that.
Dang.
Yu Yu Hakusho's better in general.
Right. Interesting.
Middle school me had good taste.
Since then, we also finished Girls Band Cry.
That's right.
Yeah, we finished Girls Band Cry. My favorite anime.
Because we're all a titter about that.
Right.
Yeah.
Favorite anime of that season. Just amazing, start to finish. I do think the penultimate episode is better than the actual last episode.
Mm-hmm.
But that was, I think, the goal of the penultimate episode was to go on that like slow down for the final.
Mm-hmm.
Like pump the brakes. We're ending the season, and we're good.
I do find it really cool that like all of the voice actresses are actually the band members,
Right.
For Togenashi Togeari is
Yeah.
the name of the band.
Watching them perform was sick. Like I found a live video, and I was like, whoa.
It's tight. Very cool. And like obviously like that is all their first time doing voiceovers too.
Right.
Really good performances out of all of them.
Right.
Right. So it's like very cool.
Which is why if you look them up on like VA stuff, there's none.
There's nothing there.
Because they're musicians first. Mm-hmm. So sick.
Shout outs to Rupa. She plays Musume. Hardcore. It's kind of crazy.
She has been popping off on Twitter. AX was this weekend, or this past weekend, right?
And the Expo was this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
Saw lots of footage about it.
Yeah. So.
It's always 4th of July.
Maybe one day we'll go. I mean, I loved Anime Expo when I went there.
Kind of did.
First and only time last time. But
it's one of my favorite events to go to. It used to be a yearly thing for a while.
Right. We'll get there. We'll get back there. I watched the Blue Lock movie, episode Nagi.
Ooh, Liz actually texted me about it. Remember, she watched the whole thing, and then bought the manga because she was so hooked on it. And then she saw the announcement about the movie, and so we're gonna watch it probably in October.
Do you want me to not say anything about it?
Did you like it?
No.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
We're still gonna watch it.
No, I know you are. I did not think it was good.
Okay.
Which is like sad because like we could have had the sports anime turkey, I would have called it that. Which is first Slam Dunk, Peak. Watched it earlier today actually. Still just as good. Got Elias to like love it. Other goons to love it. Best anime film of the past couple of years. And it, you know, still just as good as ever. Sports, basketball. And then Haikyuu. And Haikyuu was phenomenal. Stupendous. And then Blue Lock. And then I was like, I had high expectations. I should not have. Because I was spoiled by Slam Dunk and Haikyuu. So I'll leave it at that. Okay. I'm sure you'll have your own opinions about it later. Yeah. Anyway,
I'm curious.
Speaking of,
I missed that showing. So
right, yeah. I would say you dodged a bullet. The first Slam Dunk is on Blu-ray, and we watched that. I watched it on Blu-ray over the weekend and earlier today, which tells you how much I love that movie.
But you actually like playing basketball too.
I do.
And you follow it too, right? Yes.
Like the NBA and stuff like that? Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But it's funny how much that movie is both about basketball and not. I think what makes that movie way better than any normal sports film. Well, no, that's not true, because I think the great sports films do the same thing. Is like almost that the movie is not about the game, but rather what the game means within the context of its characters. And in this situation, it's grief. It's like, how do you contend with grief? And people who don't know how to grieve. So it's like phenomenal in that regard. Because it does that thing where it intercuts between the game and flashbacks. And it's like, it's an amazing movie because it is a remake of a game that had already aired on anime, but it adds like completely new context to the game. Beat for beat, the game is exactly the same way it was on the television show. But then in between those beats, we're getting flashbacks to things that we had never seen before. And all of a sudden, the context of this game completely changes.
And it's for a character that doesn't get a lot of focus.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Shoutouts to Ryota. Ryota single-handedly brought basketball to the Philippines. So, yeah. I don't know. I can't recommend that movie enough. I think it's one of the best things I've ever seen. And then, yeah. I also watched Shikanoko Noko-tan.
Shikanoko Noko Koshitan-tan.
Koshitan-tan. I am, I think since last time, I
go to an idol concert again.
Me too. I think since last time, so I haven't watched it recently, but I think since we last recorded, I have watched more Death Note, and I'm on the last 9 episodes.
Oh,
Okay.
And so, spoiler alert for an anime that's a bajillion years old. So if you get spoiled here, get over it at this point. Last episode I watched was L dying.
Yeah.
I was like...
And you're like, where does it go from here?
And I was like, I can't stop, but I have like a 9 to 5 tomorrow. So that was ass, and I haven't watched it since. Can you imagine? It's been torturous.
I can imagine.
I'm very upset. But also, I don't want to watch it without the people who got me onto it.
You watched it week to week, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
so
yes,
that moment for you,
yes.
also probably
I
very
remember.
same feeling.
Yeah.
Yes.
Agonizing, but incredible.
How did you feel when Elle died? Like,
I felt like it was coming. It felt like it was coming.
Yeah, there's
but
no way he was going to survive this whole thing.
Yeah.
But, so like, I know, I was spoiled on the very end, the very last episode, because I walked in on friends watching it.
Mm-hmm.
So I know what happens at the very end.
Okay.
And then I know the general gist of the anime. Really, surprisingly, what I've been able to avoid is all the middle.
Everything in between.
And all of that is important to how devastating the death of Elle is. That's also similar to, spoiler alert for any One Piece fans.
Oh.
Are you...
Oh, no, it does not matter to me.
Okay, it does not matter to you. Okay, just making sure. I knew for like over a decade that Ace died. That did not soften any of the blow when I watched it. Because what's important to Ace dying in One Piece is everything around that moment. That's like, I started crying during the Ace stuff, not even when he like right away died. It was like when Garp was like sitting there next to him, and then the Grand Fleet Admiral was like, you don't have to sit here. And like you get the kind of like, he was pretty much his father. He was the person who raised him. And now he has to watch his son get killed. And he's like, no, I have to be here. And he just sits there in silence because he can't, he's fighting two things.
Right.
His father, his need to be a caring father in this moment, and then also his duty as a Marine. And it is like, the dam just broke there. And I'm like, I'm not even at the part everyone talks about, like I was messed up right there. And all of that stuff, there's so much more than that leading up to the moment that it's almost like the moment was inconsequential, but the moment is made because of everything leading up to it. And I think that's similar to the death of Elle. Like, I think knowing that Elle died, it was like that originality, Asher, like, side of me was like, oh, I saw this coming from a mile away. But kind of like all the interactions leading to it. And as like weird as Elle is, his value in light, like as a friend, and that kind of stuff, that's the like, ooh, the Amogus like moment, like just the betrayal, the heartbreak, like it's, I don't know. It was good. I want to finish it so bad. So, Jess and Sarah, if you're watching this, I care about you. Do whatever you gotta do to be healthy and make sure you're like okay and good for us to watch. But know that I'm fiending. I'm gonna clip this out of here and I'm gonna send it to y'all in our like chat. Like, y'all can't leave me hanging here, man. Y'all made me watch this, and then now I'm sitting here like.
Like, well, Elle died, show's over.
Yeah, exactly. Can you imagine if I was just done there and I never watched it again?
Finish it?
I'd be so sad. And otherwise, it was the charity clash, and the charity clash was incredibly successful. Hit our goal mark of 300. Donated over $300 to the Jacksonville Humane Society. Got a couple of incentives, so like I have to follow through on those.
That's true. So one of them was a cosplay stream.
Right.
What was another one? Cooking stream.
So cooking stream. And then
the most important one is your handmade card to me.
Handmade card to Rob. Handmade card to a couple of other people.
Mail it to me.
All right. Okay. Get ready. And then just a couple of other things.
Oh yes, for me you owe something about a whole menu from Bunny something.
Bunny Garden.
Yeah.
Do you know what Bunny Garden is?
No.
That's hilarious that you picked that. Did you know that Jenny was the one that donated for that?
What have you done?
I don't know.
Bunny Garden I played for about a day or two, maybe 2 days.
That's all you really need, right?
Yeah, kind of. It was a really fascinating one because like at this point I have a manager and this is my first time like working with a manager, and so like in terms of like the streaming space, I was always like, I started this thing, which a lot of people did around that time, a lot of VTubers specifically. It's like, I'm not gonna finish it, and he's like, don't ever feel bad about that in the streams. And you would think I would know this, you know, for the multiple years that I've been streaming. He's like, don't ever feel bad about it because streamers drop things all the time. And it's like, a lot of these people only played Bunny Garden for that one time, and then they were done with it. That's all you kind of really need to get the gist of it.
But what is it, Asher?
It is like a, what are they called? Hostess bar game?
Mm-hmm.
Where you like, you're a tired, like, salaryman type of guy, and you go to this hostess bar, and there are 3 girls, different personalities. They're all in bunny outfits. They all have big jiggly bits, and you get to know them. You get to buy them drinks, and you get to buy food for them. And so there's an entire menu.
You have to cook the menu, or you have to...
I have to cook the menu.
Oh.
So I don't necessarily have to make a video for it. I will like post me. I will post that I've done it.
Mm-hmm.
You will have proof that I have cooked the menu.
It's called Bunny Garden.
Mm-hmm.
Bunny Garden. I've already forgotten their names, but the blonde one is the best one.
Is she?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about them.
She's the best one.
Mm-hmm.
I think most people pick her too. So
Overwhelmingly the best one.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, that's all you need to know
she
about
was
Bunny
like,
Garden.
whoa. Awooga. Doing the
Available on the
mascots.
Nintendo Switch.
Let's go. So I will cook that menu. I will also do a cooking stream. I've been tossing around this idea for a long time of cooking something called the 9 Gates steak. Have you ever watched Naruto?
No.
Oh, okay. You have.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen Rock Lee open the gates?
The 9 gates.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It would be like a...
Well, let me not say that. Anyway.
It's like it's a steak that will be in, obviously there's not this many rarities, but it'll be in 9 rarities, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It's in 9.
It's like a rainbow of rarities
Right.
in one steak.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna practice because I don't think I can do that in one.
Hard.
Yeah, but
Do you use a torch?
I imagine so, right?
Yeah, because that's the only way you can control the heat, dispensing across and like over time.
That, or you would like, if you are searing it, you are doing primarily an edge. You are letting it go in this like direction, but that seems, I think the torch is optimal with some searing.
You need to borrow one. We have one. Paul would be
Yeah.
more than happy to see that thing get used.
Oh, I see.
He plays with it. He goes kid mode. He like grabs anything and goes like everything's a gun.
But yeah, I don't know. And then who knows when the next charity clash is? We'll
You
see.
do.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know when it'll be because I don't have the resources to do it as often as we did before.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think as often as we did before was kind of a fatiguing. In
How
terms
often did you do it before?
of monthly.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot.
Yeah, it
I was thinking quarterly at most.
Yeah, no, it was
There's like no cooldown period.
There's no cooldown
That's
period.
exhausting.
People like the specifically the regulars, like they don't want to spend the money every month, and I don't ask people to do that.
Yeah.
You know,
There's that
like
too, yeah.
and but it's like, yeah, it's that, and I think it makes it more of an event when it's spaced out like that.
Yeah.
So Don't expect it for another couple months, but when we get into that zone, know that we will start talking about it. Because I think it was very healthy for this one to be talked about and like, you know, get it hyped up as it was like getting closer to it.
Yeah, we were so hyped about it. Obviously, Phil was playing too.
Right.
Paul was helping me train, and then I was too. But we convinced Ryan also to make it the theme for the Halloween party this year.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna turn the coolers into generators.
Oh, that's sweet.
And anyone who's dressed as a like killer is going to wear a red light on their like belt area. So that's gonna have like.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
I wonder if I should be a killer for DB for it.
And then Paul's actually has been drafting up how he's gonna make giant hooks all over, and we're gonna hang like all of our usual props like on them and stuff.
God, it would be cool to be the plague.
Very cool.
Projectile vomit all over everyone.
Oh boy.
We'd really get the party started.
Yeah.
Or ends it.
Exactly.
That's usually how the party ends, Asher.
That's how you win a day by day life.
That's true. All right, well, that's our intro. And, we'll get to talking about Vivy right after this break. Let's talk about Vivy. We'll start with the classic question. Why Vivy? I feel like you touched on it last episode, but like let's is there anything more than just Hatsune Miku Terminator?
I saw it on Twitter in a thread that was like anime that, you know, goes underappreciated or something like that. And there was 3 words that said Hatsune Miku Terminator. And then the image was like one of those like hyper realistic like looks at Vivy of her eye. And I was like, oh, this looks pretty. I'm gonna pick it.
Yeah.
And that's how we got here. And then I looked it up on my anime list and it was like 8.6 or something. And it was like a really high score. And I was like, oh, this seems like it was really, really, really good. But, you know, just probably came out at a time where it was a busy season.
2021, right?
2022. 2021 somewhere.
Certainly in the throes of the pandemic.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it would be fun just pick another anime we haven't seen before. And it's an OVA, so there's no source material.
Right. We've only had OVA bangers.
We've only had OVA bangers
so far.
So, like, let's try our luck with another one. You know?
What was I gonna ask? There was a specific question I was gonna ask, but I blanked because I was enthralled by your thought.
He blanked.
So is it like Terminator from your POV?
I mean, there's Terminator stuff in there, right?
Right.
You have like the whole time travel thing. You have like the AI robot.
Right.
Vivy herself. It's just, you know, this unstoppable like Terminator-like thing in a lot of ways.
Are you guys familiar with the concept of technological singularity?
Those are words.
How about you?
Nope.
Technological singularity
I don't even know
is...
what that means.
Those are words.
Technological singularity, and they mention singularity, so it's very, very
I don't
obvious.
know what singularity means.
It's very obvious.
Single point?
Single point, right.
Oh, shit!
Oh.
Let's go!
It is a... so it's very obvious that they have done their research...
I slept through all my classes.
It's very obvious that they've done their research on this concept, and it is a concept that at some point in time, technology will move so far ahead that it will essentially domino into this catastrophic thing for humankind because technology has reached this point of advancement that like let me see if oh yeah, here it is. A hypothetical future point in time at which technological growth becomes uncontrollable and irreversible, resulting in unforeseeable consequences for human civilization. That's what Vivy is kind of about. It's about the technological singularity. It exists in a whole bunch of other mediums and other things. Yeah. And Vivy specifically is like, the technological singularity happens and the person who supposedly will stop it is Vivy.
Well, it's worst case scenario of the singularity moment.
Right.
Because there are probably some points where it does that, but it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world.
Right.
Like, for example, if you take the idea of technology, we can't go back now.
Right.
It's like saying now we can't use wheels anymore.
Right.
Right. Like that just that's not a bad thing to continue using wheels.
Right.
Or let's see, another example, flame, all those were technological advancements that we'll never be able to go backwards from.
Right.
But I think this takes it to that worst case scenario that actually a lot of people, when they talk about AI, jump to.
Right. Yeah. Is that sentience? It is a lot of stuff dealing with like, yes, we are their gods, but when they realize that we are inferior to them, they will see them as like, we should be the dominant race, type of thing.
Rise up.
Time to rise up, type of steez.
It's almost become like the new modern monster. You know how like there was Frankenstein,
and
Dracula and everything, and then zombies. I called zombies like the modern medicine of when cancer was at its peak. Like those zombies represent cancer in a lot of literature. Maybe AI has become the new monster.
Yeah, certainly.
Absolutely.
Have you seen? Have either of you watched Ex Machina?
Yes,
Do you
actually,
like
I
Ex
have it.
Machina?
It's over there.
Hell yeah! Do you like Ex Machina?
I liked it a lot. Yeah. It was
You haven't seen Ex
beautiful.
Machina?
I have not.
Have you heard of it?
No.
Oh, it's so sick.
It's beautiful.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
very beautifully done. Great artistry in storytelling. Very show don't tell kind of a story.
First 4K I've ever owned.
Ooh.
I would say it's a good choice for one.
It's a good choice.
Honestly.
Ooh.
When did it come out? Because I don't think it was. It's been around for a long time.
It's been a long time. I
and
was
it was
in
that
Atlanta.
good.
Oh wow.
It was that good that it
I was in
still
Atlanta.
stands out.
Essentially, it is a story about this guy. He works for like a big tech company, and he gets kind of called up to this like kind of retreat thing. It's like this place in the middle of the woods, and you find out it is a place that's owned by the like owner of the company, essentially. So like a Tesla type of Elon Musk type of dude, and like essentially he has this guy in here, and then shows him around the place, and eventually they go into a room and they see this girl, or it's an AI. It's very clearly a robot. You could see like the parts in the back of her head, but like the face is very human. The new Lara Croft, Alicia Vikander, that was like her breakout role.
Oh, okay.
That character. And essentially it's like, oh, that guy was brought here because I need you to prove that she is a like AI that transcends, like the test that says she is an AI.
I'll let you borrow my copy of Ex Machina.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to watch it
I
again.
haven't seen it in a long time.
I'd also
but
love to watch it again.
Let's
do
just
a
plan
watch party.
a watch party at some
Do a
point.
watch party.
Yeah.
But it is.
Rob only watches sci-fi anime.
He does.
Apparently. Yeah.
You went Pluto to this.
Pluto
You can't
to
spell. You
this.
can't spell robot without Rob.
This is what y'all done to.
Oh, got him! Wow.
This podcast is done to me.
Only robots for Rob.
Only robots.
Robots.
But yeah,
I'm gonna get y'all asses next time.
but I asked because like Ex Machina, it deals with some similar themes, like some similar concepts.
Now I'm like, my brain is totally whirring. Like,
Have you watched Her?
oh, it's the Scarlett Johansson one, right? No, I didn't, but I know the concept.
Okay, yeah. Her.
They had a movie with that. It was very similar. What was it?
Her to me, and I was saying this when we watched, or like I touched on it a little bit with Rob. Her to me also reminds me of Vivy a little bit, or Vivy reminded me of her.
Okay.
And this type of thing has been around for so long. It's like, how do you kind of change up the formula? And this show kind of does it by. It's interesting because it's not a full-blown musical.
No,
it's not full-blown. Music is important to it, and music is the catalyst to which AI in the show kind of determine that they are sentient, I guess. Like the fact that you have been able to create art with intent.
Right.
Like it was your intent to do it.
On free will.
Yeah, via free will. It wasn't like I was programmed to do it.
Right.
I made the distinct choice to make this music. And that's like a very pivotal point that it got AI there. And it's really fascinating that like in one timeline, Vivy did not do that. And it happened, right? The apocalypse happened.
Mm-hmm.
But in the other time she did, and it still was like, it was a driving force for the apocalypse to happen because AI realized, well, we are just as good, if not better than humans, because we have the ability to choose to make art, which made that whole sequence quite haunting when they're all like humming, singing her
off key.
Off key song, which is like
in the minor chord, like
which is kind of like kind of similar to one of the earlier episodes when he what's his name was hearing the recording of
the song "Sing My Pleasure."
Yeah, or like what's her name? Who was the one that was running Grace? Hearing the recording of Grace, and it's like
the song was "Sing My Pleasure."
She's definitely like still in there because she is singing the song, and then
she's calling for me.
And Vivy's like, but that's like a husk of what that song should be, you know, like it's not. And I think that's fascinating to go from like, to have that in that episode and then in the finale.
On that note,
yeah,
the audio design for this show,
I thought it was incredible.
Pretty fucking cool.
Did you like the audio design? I thought it was awesome.
So this is one that I actually did make Paul watch the OPs. Every time.
The OPs like changed every episode.
Yeah.
It changed every arc.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. There was some arcs where like the robots that were like parallel were like human looking robots. Other ones they were the old models.
There were a lot of changes. Even the style of how they interpret the song at that point.
Yep. Right. Yeah.
Changed. Because at some points the song is just kind of like a chore.
Mm-hmm.
You see a lot of her like preparations of just being to be herself.
Right.
Other ones where she was totally badass.
Right.
And then other ones where it's like a kind of softer in all the imagery.
Mm-hmm.
So it changed and it kind of set the tone for what storyline or mood we're about to go into. Or
right.
Exploration of human character or humanity, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So question, did each of you have a favorite arc? Actually, let's do an overarching umbrella first.
Okay.
Did you like it, Jenny, overall?
Can you start with Rob?
Okay, Rob, did you like it overall?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did.
What is it about it that you like?
I really liked, so like one thing that really stuck out again was like the audio
design. The audio design,
the audio
right.
like was really fucking cool, especially like those moments where it's like the robotic voice comes out.
So good.
Right? And then it's like it's chilling in a lot of ways.
It's distorted.
Voice? What do you mean?
So like what was the scene when they're on the space hotel place?
The sunrise?
With Estella and Elizabeth?
With Estella, right?
Yeah, Estella and Elizabeth.
When Elizabeth like calls out Estella at the very end, and it's not like a normal voice. It is very like robotic or very much like she's almost short-circuiting in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It's like a very staticky like sound to it.
Right.
Like that was very chilling to me.
Yeah.
Right. And the way that they play with that throughout the show.
Right.
Was just incredible. It's an attention to detail that like they didn't have to do.
No.
And a lot of shows don't really do.
Right.
But they went that extra step, right? And then they also that same approach to like the visuals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like there are moments where like it gets like hyper focused on like a certain image.
Right. It does that hyper realism thing.
Yeah.
Which is normally for comedic effect, at least in American cartoons, like SpongeBob, where like you go into doesn't the hyper realism stuff, right? Like, or it's not hyper realism, it's like way more detailed static picture. Like Vivy is like very well detailed. There's a lot of like deep shadows. Maybe only her eyes move, and it's a still frame. They do that quite a lot in Vivy, but I historically have only seen it in comedic effect in shows like SpongeBob, where like Ren and Stimpy, where it will like zoom into Squidward's wrinkled face. Yeah.
See, I didn't grow up watching those.
Oh, right.
So to me, those are only used for really emotional moments.
That's hilarious because I primarily know it as a comedic beat.
But I think I've seen a couple animes where they do use it in like a comical effect where it's kind of someone going.
A similar effect is the Fist of the North Star thing, where they give where they give a little
Where
girl
they almost come JoJo-ish.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a similar effect, but this is different in small ways, but the same. The effect is the same.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
And so, I love those moments because it's cost effective. Weirdly, it's not a very expensive thing to do.
Really? Cool.
I don't think so because you paint the frame and then you animate specific parts of it. So I imagine
17 hours for me, right?
I imagine it's not as intensive as maybe some of the fight scenes they fucking put in the show.
Where they just decided to go all out on.
Yeah, for some
y'all
reason.
didn't have to do this, but okay, we're here.
Because and they took that budget from the car. What did you think about the vehicles in the show? They were really bad, but I laugh about it, and I was
Which vehicles
are
you talking about?
Just normal cars. I was like, damn, this is putty. They just threw it in there, and then it was their money definitely didn't go to that.
Nope.
But then I see later, oh my god, this fight scene. They took that money and put it there.
Or that's actually how things would be designed. I mean, look at
so ugly though.
Look at the freaking Tesla trucks.
Yeah, those are ugly too.
Exactly. That's our future, Asher.
Oh boy.
Damn it.
I do want to go back to your note. Great call out on one thing that Vivy does amazing is the sound production.
Right.
They put depth in the voices when it came to the AI talking, where there's a second layer of the voice so that you distinguish this is an AI.
Yes. Right.
They signify him with the symbol on the neck.
Sure.
But when they would talk, it was ooh, this is a little bit of dissonance where we're gonna catch it and go, that's an AI. Even with the casual speech, Navi's what are you talking about? It sounds very human, but it's
Navi came straight from another anime. That guy came straight from Tatami Galaxy. That guy was going berserk. He was talking 50 miles an hour.
It was great.
Jenny likes Navi? Confirmed?
Yeah.
Navi or Matsumoto?
Oh, wait.
Navi was the audio bot.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, so...
I'm thinking Matsumoto. My bad.
That's something I watched it in English, so it must have been very different.
Oh, Matsumoto's talking 50 miles an hour.
Oh.
I wonder how the English dubbed it. How was the English dubbed?
He's the reason I kept watching.
Really? Matsumoto?
Yeah.
Huh.
The way he spoke, his cadence, his energy, I was like, I'm rooting for him.
Interesting.
Okay. Sorry, you're gonna get to me, obviously, but I was like, okay, screw Vivy. I'm here for Matsumoto.
Okay, yeah.
And also, I missed his bear form after a while. I was like...
I thought the bear form was going to last longer.
I did too.
I do agree.
Well, maybe it's where they, again, cut down on the animation budget.
All right. It is. They want to think of a cube. It's fine. It's
very easy to animate.
Just
cube.
rolling around. It's fine.
We'll just put little exclamation points in his eyes.
That's it.
And a little tear.
They make the best of it. They didn't have to animate the cube that much.
Yeah, but they did.
They do make it
I think
expressive.
They were really, really smart with their production.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly.
They put the money where it needed to go,
Yeah.
I think, in terms of the production of the quality of production.
Yeah.
I was mentioning to Rob that this is the first WIT anime we watched for...
WIT Studio, I was going to ask you guys that eventually.
Right.
What are they known for?
Attack on Titan.
Oh.
The first 3 seasons, specifically.
The first 3 seasons for that.
Okay.
Spy X Family.
Spy X Family.
Ranking
of Kings.
Ranking of Kings is another one.
Totally different designs. All 3 of those.
Right.
They're kind of all over the place.
They are all over the place, and in the best way. They tackle some really cool stuff.
Ranking of Kings looks like Western animation.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, they're trying stuff.
Mm-hmm. Big fan.
Very cool.
Which they do very cool things with shadow things. Kage. The shadow blob in Ranking of Kings.
I never watched Ranking of Kings.
Oh, okay. Bloop.
Oopsies. Yeah, I've never watched Ranking of Kings. I've been told I should.
Bloop. But they animate him. He's a shadow. He's
Mhm.
a piece of shadow. And they animate him very, very well.
It's very cool.
Yeah. Ranking King's actually one of my Paul's favorite animes.
Yeah,
Really?
I've heard you guys talk about it. Yeah.
We love. You tell him Boji and he'll just start crying.
Oh shit!
Whoa.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Have you watched Ranking Kings?
I have not. I've only heard about it.
Yeah,
And I've seen clips here and there.
that's
Very
right.
good. Very, very fun. Actually, his icon and Discord is from Ranking Kings.
I was wondering where that was from.
Yeah.
Okay,
I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
crazy.
I'm gonna check it out.
He's
Interesting.
huge fans.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's cool. Wit Studio does all over the place because that is a very
Yeah.
different style than even
They'll also be doing the One
Vivy.
Piece, remake.
remake.
Yeah.
Yeah, they announced that they're going to remake One Piece to really address like a lot of the pacing problems with the original airing of One Piece.
Wait, what?
Modernize it.
Modernize it a little bit.
I mean, yeah, it's awful. It's got commercial breaks.
It's commercial break. Like they'll sit on a single frame for like 5 minutes to like kill time.
and just have them bounce a little
the
bit to
right-
show movement.
The first
Um,
5 minutes of every episode after a certain point is just
Recap.
recaps, yeah. So
So Wit Studio got the
So-
rights to redo
Yep.
remake One Piece.
mhm.
It's probably going to cut down how many episodes there are.
yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
their goal is to like make it easier to approach, right?
Right.
Wow.
I wonder how far they'll take it. Like I don't
Me too.
like obviously they're probably going to do like the first couple arcs, right? But I wonder
Right.
if they'll continue it to like catch it up or what. But it's
Very
a pretty
curious.
interesting project, yeah.
It is.
It is. You
Yeah.
don't really see them do that kind of stuff with anime.
Especially not one that is also currently airing too.
True.
Like One Piece is still going,
Yeah.
so you're gonna have a remake going while the original is still
Right.
going.
Urusei Yatsura was done. Hunter x Hunter was done.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I
like,
think this is like a special request from somebody, and they're the producer, the budget behind this idea.
I mean, One Piece makes bank, so if they want to,
That's
they
what I'm
can.
saying. They're probably being like, I'm going to invest $17 billion, but I'm going to get back $47 billion.
Probably because
Yeah.
people love One Piece.
Yeah,
Businessman.
absolutely.
And if this is a way to get more fans into One Piece,
More people in,
then
because the biggest thing people always talk about with One Piece, not getting into it, is how long it is.
Right.
Like I don't want
They're
to
like,
get in.
I don't
because
have time for 1,111 episodes.
it's like,
you
oh,
do.
Didn't
We
they
all
just
have the
hit
same
that
amount of time.
We don't, though.
I have 24 hours. You have 24 hours.
I only have 10 hours.
Don't tell me you don't have enough time. You just don't want to. Me being very mean about it. Everybody watch One Piece. Nah, I get it. It's a commitment. It's a lot. But yeah, it's very cool that Wit Studio is doing it, and here we are, Vivy, one of the byproducts. So you like it overall.
Mhm.
Did you have a favorite arc? Because there are interesting arcs throughout it. Yeah,
I really like the Sunrise arc a lot.
yeah.
I think that one.
Estella, the
That's-
Polaris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that one probably stands out to me a little bit.
Why'd you like that one the most? Why does that?
Why does it stand out?
Yeah, off the top of your head, like.
I found the story between like Elizabeth and
Estella.
Estella like pretty interesting, right?
Yeah.
Like you have this one that was thrown away.
Uma
right?
Musume vibes.
Oh, yeah. Maybe that's why.
The twins.
Maybe that's
Right,
why the
twin horses,
the
yeah.
twin horses. Yeah, maybe that's a thing.
Well, the other horse wasn't thrown away.
No, but it's a similar tragedy of like you lose.
I mean, pretty
one
much a death
sibling.
sentence. I think
You know.
I think they thought it was a death sentence when they threw her away. I think the implication was that she would be dead.
Mhm.
They didn't think that this renegade group was gonna come over and awaken her.
Pick her
You
up.
gonna finish that?
Yeah,
Exactly. Like pick her up and,
You know, I think.
and do that.
Honestly, it is a
Um,
little weird that a group, anti-AI group, would scout a AI bot and think this is a good idea to add this to our organization.
Right. It was strange.
Listen,
Okay.
we need the AI to defeat the AI.
Fight fire with fire.
I mean, that
Fire
is
with fire.
what happened in the Terminator. So
Mhm.
I mean,
it happened in the Terminator.
sounds right to me.
Like,
Any Terminator would do the same thing.
I get it. I get what you're saying, but also, we can. It's happened before, I guess. So I guess we need to
What haven't we tried?
Call him,
Exactly, right?
call him
Right,
Mr.
right
James
now.
Cameron. Hey, stop working on Avatar. You got to fix your Terminator movies. Anyway.
But also, did you like it though? We didn't even get to you, though, broadly speaking.
Oh, so we're going to skip Jenny?
Yes, put me at the end.
Okay, I do like it.
Mm.
I do really like it. I think I mentioned this to you. I like the rest of the series more than the first 3 episodes.
Okay.
Weirdly enough.
Mm.
But that's because the first 3 episodes are kind of like a setup. And I'm kind of more fascinated. Here's a question. Is Vivy a generational trauma show?
Generational trauma?
Yeah.
I mean, it does break the time gaps by generation almost. It actually spans over generations.
It does.
They do talk a lot about the offspring of characters that we meet early on because it spans over 100 years.
Right.
What's the trauma portion?
I guess like the impact of like, because right, there is a part of Vivy's programming that is carried on, like specifically it's the song, through each one of them, and they have to bear the brunt of society towards them, and like because they are AI. So like it's certainly it like this is meant to be a question that I don't have an answer to. Like I do not have an answer for this question, but I found it a fascinating question.
Thinking about that.
Like could it be compared to generational trauma? Because these are models that are related to her. And they go through quite a lot. You know, that's putting it lightly.
Oh, because she keeps calling them younger sister.
The
Right.
sisters.
Oh, I was thinking actually on the human side.
Oh, no. Oh, I mean, there's that too. That's a
That's
thing.
what I was thinking.
Like there is a human thread there.
There's a bunch of human threads.
Right.
A lot. 'Cause to the point where I was like, why do you look young again? Oh.
Right. So yeah, qualms. I think I would have liked the descendant of the Toak guy more if I spent more time with her.
Toak guy.
The guy that she saves in the beginning
Oh,
from the
okay.
falling building, and then her
Oh.
offspring, right, is the girl in the wheelchair.
Mhm.
Granddaughter.
Yeah, the granddaughter, and her personality is only that she is the descendant of this guy and then knows how to work a computer.
Right.
Really?
That's how I felt.
Oh. She might have been different in the English then.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. In the English one, I could see why she was chosen as a leader.
I see.
It was very cool, actually. She
Interesting.
made a statement that I was like,
I mean, yeah, right. They do put into the front that she believes that AI and humans can be can coexist, but I didn't feel much more than that. It feels kind of nitpicky though because I don't have anything like truly against her. I just don't think she's that fleshed
she also
out.
didn't get much time at all.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
It was really like the last 2 episodes.
For feeling like a
Yeah,
kind of
seriously.
important character that so important that you have to go back in time slightly more to save specifically her, you know?
And sacrifice somebody else
sacrifice.
who we were like, I feel like he's more important.
Yeah, who like
Right.
we are like, bro, we just
Invested
we
in
just
love.
memento mori'd you.
Right.
Like we saw you go from a child to an adult, and we
Mm-hmm.
we went through it with you. Like I'm so sad that it's come to this. Like, you know, it's
You deserve better.
yeah. I think I would have, you know, preferred a little bit more spice and seasoning in that regard, but
That's the budget.
Yeah, that's right. We didn't have enough. We didn't have
They were
enough.
like, shit.
Bro.
I mean, you know, cube fight at
That
the
was
end.
great.
That was cut down to splash, splash,
but
splash.
I would say overall I like it. Yeah, I do really like it. Specifically the sister stories.
Okay.
I like Estelle's story. I like Grace's story, and I liked
Ophelia.
I think I liked the most Ophelia's story.
Ophelia and Antonio.
Yeah, Ophelia and Antonio, because that was wild. That was like, whoa.
I was so annoyed that they named her Ophelia.
Why? I actually loved it.
She did.
I did. I was like, wow, so Shakespearean. And then like It ended like a Shakespearean tragedy.
That's what I hated.
I loved it. I love that shit.
It's because they gave it away, like right away.
Polar opposites here.
I was like, ah.
And I love that. I love it when it's in plain sight for me.
It's like if you have a story between two brothers, you name one Mufasa. I know what the fuck's gonna happen.
Right?
The other
Yeah.
one's gonna hang that one off the cliff and then say,
Right.
and all the kids are gonna watch and cry.
I thought it was so tight.
I was so annoyed that they named her Ophelia because I'm like, just give it away. Why don't you just say how it's gonna end? She's gonna die. Thanks.
And Ophelia is one of my favorite characters in like literature.
She's beautiful.
So,
Tragically beautiful.
Yeah.
I was telling Paul because he didn't know Ophelia, and I was just like,
Right.
why would they name her Ophelia? And he was
Yeah, I
like,
didn't know either. I got the dome.
Yeah, you got the lore dump.
oh no, and Paul did too.
Rob got the lore dump when we mentioned Ophelia.
Yeah.
And actually there was a I won't talk about it here because that's in my own reserves, but there was a book that I wanted to write that revolved around Ophelia. Like, so I really
Subscribe
like
to
the
Patreon.
Hey. JSB Publishing.
Get that in.
JSB Publishing. That'll be the day. But yeah, that's interesting that you.
So favorite arc. You named like all of them.
Well, no.
Like every system.
Well, I mentioned that I like them, but my favorite is the Ophelia one.
Okay.
Yeah, I do like the Ophelia arc.
Okay.
The arc where supposedly the first AI commits Sudoku.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I digress. Also, fan of the sound design. The fight scenes were way harder than I thought. Like they were I was impressed by those fight scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what? Just whoa, this is crazy.
The sunrise fight scene.
Great fight scene.
Best one,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think.
Yeah.
That's in so good.
The physics in it was perfect. The timing, the physics, the impacts.
The impacts.
Fantastic.
And then comboed with the fact that her voice was that distorted voice.
Yes.
You know, like it was amping everything up. I was like, oh.
Fantastic. Yep.
You
don't usually get that with fight scenes with that mix of sound depth.
Yeah.
You get the sounds that we're used to, right? Pow,
Yes.
ta, shoosh.
Yeah.
But then with the depth of it, with extra noises, kind of like the second voice in the AI voices,
Right.
the second depth of sound, it was like, wow, that's another layer of animation you don't usually see or hear. It's very cool.
I'm sure if I was one of those people who like to nitpick plot holes, maybe this story is like much worse than it is to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm very easy to just be like, huh, that doesn't make logical sense. All right, here we go. You know, like I'm very quick to be more forgiving about it. Only because it doesn't take me out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for some people who are distracted, you know, I don't think it's incorrect for them. If something takes you out, it takes you out.
Right.
Like, yeah. I think if I was more like that, I would be more annoyed by some of the stuff. Like, why would Toak have an AI in their ranks when they're trying to, you know, like that type of situation?
Mm-hmm.
But me, I was like, huh. You know, that's just how it was. It wasn't particularly grievous to me.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else? Like general note do I have? No, in terms of like general opinion about it, I think that about covers it. I like it. I don't think I put it in top 3 of things that we've watched so far. Is it in top 5? I don't know. Rob's favorite subject matter, top number things.
Oh my god.
I mean, it's out of 19, guys.
Is it in my top 6?
Is it in your
know.
top 18?
Yeah, I start like going into that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I already know it's in the bottom.
I don't even think
It's in the top 17.
but it is cool. It's fascinating to go from Pluto to this and just kind of similar stuff, but also not quite. Like, you know, one has more of the time travel thing, but they both do contend with the concept of sentience and
pacing of the story was also extremely different. The
they're very different.
Method of storytelling was different.
Right.
Like the narration point of view, totally different.
Right.
We had like a noir style storytelling with Pluto, where this one was
feels like an action movie. Felt like Terminator.
It actually kind of reminded me of, well, with pacing purely, Memento. Nolan.
Interesting.
What
do you mean?
Basically,
what do you mean by that?
It was there's jumps in time.
I see what you mean. Okay,
and
I understand
so it's like,
now.
and
Okay.
you're at the mercy of those jumps in time.
Mm-hmm.
You
Watch
don't
Memento?
get.
I have not. I'm familiar.
That's
with
what I'm trying to just like kind of fill it in. You're at the mercy of time jumps
Right.
without any knowing of like how you got here or why
Right.
and what's happened since
Okay,
the last
okay.
time you remember anything.
Do you know Memento?
Do I like the movie she's talking about? Or
No. Do you know the plot of Memento?
Not really.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you the plot because that movie rules. It's Chris Nolan's ticket to fame. His first major film was Following, but Memento is the one that's like this guy.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of film study classes make people watch that movie.
Right. And so essentially it begins with this guy. He wakes up and he has short-term memory loss. He cannot remember past a certain amount of time, like 15 minutes, I think it is.
Oh, wow.
Because he was shot in the head when his wife was killed. And so he remembers like getting shot in the head and like the stuff before that. And then he can only parse together information for the next 15 minutes. And essentially, he takes photographs and he writes notes on them so that like he can refer to them and be like, okay, so this is what's up. And he also tattoos information about the person who killed his wife. So it's like
Clues.
It's like clues. So he can like read the tattoos on him and be like, because he remembers specifically that memory.
Right.
And then he assumes like once he looks at it, it's like, okay, I'm looking for this person. And I've been able to like do this.
Look for the blonde chick or something like that.
And so,
Right.
it jumps in time because it's like, he has a very unreliable narrator.
Of course.
One of the most unreliable narrators.
Sounds very cool.
It is fun. It actually feels almost like a Life is Strange type video game feel, honestly, because you're at the mercy of, I'm going to make decisions, but I don't really have a lot of context.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is, I think that game felt
Or
that
something,
way to me.
or some things you can't, you think you can control, but you can't.
You can't actually.
It's not
control
in
it.
your control.
Which I feel like Vivy
Vivy does.
Yes.
It does the
has
time.
a lot of those moments.
Yeah, it does the time is a flowing river thing. It doesn't matter. Like it will be altered in some way. You might be a drop in the like a rock that hits the stream, but the stream will still go in the same direction and we arrive at the same point.
Right.
And that is what happened.
Yep.
We reach singularity. And it's fascinating because I think that is often a discussion with the concept of the singularity. We're inevitably going to reach that point. But like, how do we handle it? And that's its own. We're not the philosophy podcast. We're the anime podcast. So I'm not going to talk to you about that and what we would do because we're not world leaders. But it is always fun subject matter, and to make it digestible for a viewing audience is always fun. You know, that's why we read sci-fi and all that stuff to challenge it a little bit. So with that being said, I feel like you didn't like it. But did you think it was like actually bad, I guess? Like, was it as a whole, like, would you say it's bad? Like,
No. There are other ones that I say were bad.
Right.
This one I say fell flat at the end.
Okay.
Towards the end.
Right.
Also, the beginning wasn't the best beginning. Like you said, after the first
Yeah,
three
not
episodes.
my favorite.
Yeah.
But
Not my favorite.
but I love that middle part.
Middle part smacked or slapped or whatever kids say.
Love the middle part, and I like the ending. I like it, but
I didn't.
But the middle, love it.
Middle was fantastic. My favorite arc was the Grace.
It's like a cream-filled donut.
Grace
Grace.
is a good arc.
Yeah.
Oh dang, we had like 3 different ones. That's tight.
Yeah. Grace.
So you like the Nier All Tomatoes arc?
What?
If you like that arc, you would like the game Nier.
Remember we talked about Nier Automata? Did we talk about it for Pluto?
We did.
I feel like we talked about it for Pluto. It's that game about like AI. So during the Grace arc, the robots with the round heads, like those are pretty much the Nier robots. They're robots in Nier. Like,
that are
they
just
look
trying
like
to
that.
mimic society.
Yeah, they're trying to behave like
that
humans
one
when they were
scene-
singing. Yeah,
that one scene where they're singing "Happy Birthday."
Is this
It's
cute?
like, yeah.
Yeah.
That is legitimately just a scene straight out of Nier Automata.
with the same type of looking robots.
Yes, exactly the same.
They're
Might
like,
have been a nod to that, honestly.
It probably was.
yeah, it might be. I wouldn't be surprised.
I like
It's
it.
one of those situations where like Yoko Taro, you see it everywhere. You know. Blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
Anyway, continue.
That was my favorite arc because I also loved that watching somebody else's whole life arc change because of
Yeah.
this, but not in a bad way. You know, they were able to be peaceful, but then
The interesting with that start of the arc is that we see them at that place abandoned, and he puts a ring on her finger.
Mhm.
And it kind of makes it hurt by the end of it.
Yeah.
Like because this is how he altered the timeline,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
Hmm.
And the fact that it breaks Vivy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Love that it had that impact.
Yes.
Like I love
Right.
how strong the impact was, and then the next skip is, 45 years later or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Dang, you need a whole lifetime to know that, honey.
yeah. Exactly. She did. Yeah. It was very
she
traumatic.
needed a reboot.
Right. She locked that away.
Yeah. So I did love that. I loved the production quality, very high.
It is.
There are some that we have knocked for a low production.
Right.
Because we're like, you could tell they were missing the budget, didn't finish the story. They couldn't finish the story because of the budget.
Right.
Cut the episode short. Can't wallow in the actual emotions. You know, this
Right.
one let you feel those emotions.
Yeah, you feel it, and I feel like generally speaking, the animation was top tier,
Mhm.
except for the cars, which is funny.
The
I always had to talk about the cars. I was like, damn, those are some bad looking cars.
What about the boat, though? Just like a basic boat.
I'm trying to remember the boat.
Yeah, see.
Did I just throw it out of my head?
Yeah,
Probably.
if you think about the way it looked on the inside animation
Uh-huh.
and then what it looked like on the outside, it's like you literally can't fit that. It does not compute.
It's very funny.
The ending destroyed it for me.
Really?
Yes, the last 2-3 episodes absolutely destroyed it for me.
What
where
is
I
it?
was-
What is it that you don't like about it?
It felt like a cop-out method to give us that happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
A plot hole, as you call it. But remember, I'm the same person that when we were playing Mansions of Madness,
Right.
and my and Derek's question is, hold on, you're saying I can see the whole thing happen from the window that's on the other side of the room?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like, there was a mechanic that said, oh yes, you can also decide to go into this room because you can see,
Right.
there's nothing in there. I'm like, hold on, you're telling me from this hallway I can see through this wall. Only in this area though. Like that doesn't make
Right.
sense at all. And I was
Right.
like, he's like, really? You're questioning this right now? Yes.
Yeah, we're fighting a Lovecraftian horror. I'm
like, there's a slithering horror thing in here, and your question is, you're
is
telling
the
me I can
question.
actually see through a window and see that there's the butler sitting here?
Yeah.
This is the problem.
I was like, can you kill the snake, please?
I
funny.
like to, because they put so much thought into everything else. So like,
Right.
this is one
It is a
thing-
well-crafted game.
This
One of my
is-
favorite games. But
fantastic game.
Mm.
But in this anime, this is like, again, I've suspended my belief on a lot of things, but this one I
Right.
can't get my head around.
right.
Like the fact, the use of the mechanic. Can I say the time travel thing? Because I think we said
Yeah.
time travel.
Yeah.
The mechanic of time travel it felt like a cop out.
It is.
Which ruined.
I actually agree.
It was a pretty Deus Ex Machina moment to run it back
Yeah, I hated that.
in that moment.
I
Right.
really hated it. I felt like it was just to build the tension. And for me, it lost all the tension because now I'm like, oh, okay, whatever.
You just
do
redo it.
that and just do it again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fine, run it back. Go ahead. I'll watch.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And it's like you did all this beautiful build up just to end on that note.
Yeah.
Also,
Did you feel like it was unearned? Like
It was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
it was unearned, and the song that was so important.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of pressure for songwriting to say, all right, build a piece that feels as emotional as everything that she's gone through.
Right.
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 That's extremely difficult. However, I have seen it done in other animes better.
Mhm.
So
Girls Band Cry.
Bochi the Rock.
Bochi.
Oh yeah, Bochi the Rock.
Where I straight up.
I think I agree with you there. I think I agree with you that like that song. I probably if I needed to describe the like major emotional points of that song, I couldn't. Whereas I could do it with Bochi, or even more so another song in the series itself, which is My Pleasure or whatever. The
As you like my pleasure.
Yeah, right? Like, so it's interesting to bring that up.
Mm-hmm.
That in and of itself is its like own study, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cause yeah, like, I mean, we've talked about it on past episodes too, where I got emotional just hearing the Bochi the Rock song, one of them, and I hadn't even seen that episode.
Right.
So I didn't have any of the emotional context, but it just happened on a playlist, and I'm like,
But you felt it.
I was like,
yeah,
this is pretty emotional. Is this
Right.
Bochi the Rock? And Paul's like, oh yeah, it's an episode you hadn't seen yet. And I was like, kind of want to watch it because this is a really good song.
right.
This one, that is a very high pressure to ask. And again, you know what? It's an AI writing the song too, right? So
Right.
what would they do? That's the songwriter's got to get into that. So it's
Right.
really, really difficult. But just the impact of that design after all this thought, after everything, the build up, I felt like it went from like, so here's like episode 1, 2, 3, and then okay. And then
It's a parabola. Upside down parabola.
it doesn't even go down. It just goes here and then goes here.
Whoa. That's crazy.
Yeah, we missed the data from here.
Yeah. The data was lost.
Also, there was a point where I was like, hold on. I think they're going to do what I think they're going to do. And then they didn't do it. And it was data doesn't die. Data never disappears.
Mm-hmm.
Ever.
But they erased the data.
They erased data.
Right.
And I was like, you literally cannot do that. Like, that is a whole thing.
Yeah, it is a whole thing. Yeah, I'm
And
familiar with that concept.
That's where I'm like, you followed a lot of things really well. You
Right.
said Singularity Project.
yeah, they studied their singularity stuff.
They did. And yet they deleted,
But
they
you're right.
erased data. And I was like, that is not a thing.
Yeah, see, I didn't catch that, and therefore it didn't bother me. But I could see like how that gets you out of it.
I see.
Bummer. Why'd you do that? You nailed singularity. Why couldn't you understand that? All this stuff written in ink, not in pencil.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. And I was hoping that would come back. Like, I thought that would have actually fed in the story better.
Mhm.
But so telling me to suspend my disbelief, absolutely, I'll do it over and over again. Do it all the time with other stuff. But like this one, I was like, you put a lot of research and effort into these parts, and then when it came to the finishing touch, the note that I'm gonna remember and end on,
I see.
it completely just crashed. And I really it actually exercised a lot of patience when it came to the whole Usama arc.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That whole thing really had to test my patience because I was like, all right, it looks like it's a dead bot at this point.
Mhm.
Like it's hitting a flat line here because she even looks like
Yeah.
she looks like she's better in her dreams than she's here in real life. And I'm like,
Mhm.
that's really sad.
It's sad.
Very sad.
Mhm.
And I was like,
Right.
how much longer do I have to watch this? Well, not in a like this sucks. This is
Right,
boring.
no, right.
This is
No,
like
well,
sad.
Sitting in the sad
I'm like,
moment, it's
right.
painful to
This
just
is
like
probably
look
the
at.
most painful thing I'm watching.
Yeah, it is.
And I was like, how much more do we have to endure this till it gets like picks back up? We've only got like 3 episodes left,
Right.
But yeah, I'd say it's because so ultimately I cannot say I liked it because
Okay, right.
the ending fell flat. There was a lot of plot armor that didn't make sense.
Right.
Poor use of certain mechanics, like the
Mhm.
time travel thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those would be the big 3 things that really
Okay.
just killed this anime for me.
Right.
That had
Right.
a lot of beautiful potential, and there were things that did fantastic that I hope
Right.
get borrowed and used again
Right.
in other anime.
And you'll remember this stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
these things.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because like even when you mentioned like the time travel cop out, like I felt that too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like Paul liked it a lot. Like when I turned
Right.
to him after with that episode finished, I looked at him and he was just like,
I like that. I see him doing that.
And I was
Right?
and I went,
He's just, But yeah, time travel stories in general for me like
Tough.
are pretty annoying. They're hard.
Yeah.
they're hard.
Right, and it always comes back to like, well, if you did it this time, why don't you just do it? If it's done one too many times, it's just like, what are we even here for?
Right.
But if you do it right,
when that moment hits, right, I was just a piece of me felt that. I was just like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
right,
And
Right.
Paul said too, he said the words literally, I suspended my disbelief.
right.
Mhm.
And I was
Mhm.
like,
I think it's rough with that one because like I see a lot of success in the ones that repeatedly time travel for
Mhm.
a reason.
Thank you.
Story that shall not be named because it's spoilers. But then there's also like Edge of Tomorrow. Edge of
Yeah.
Tomorrow's entire gist is like
fantastic. I
yeah,
love that movie.
Love that movie.
When
And
it's
like
done right, it's fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
yeah, it's
for
awesome.
sure.
Summertime Rendering
Summertime Rendering was
Summertime
Oh,
Rendering is another
that's
good one.
fine.
Oh,
Yeah.
not
It
the
was
first
so
time
fucking
travel
cool.
we've seen.
No, and that was
Right.
done very well.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why I was like, you can't just use that. It's like saying
Yeah.
it's like a story that ends with and it was all a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Especially at that
It's
moment, like I was very
Mhm.
interested to see like where they would go after that moment, like at the state of everything at
Right.
that point, and I was just like, where do we go from here?
When you
Right.
watched the countdown
Yeah,
empty out, I was like,
countdown.
All right.
Satellites are dropping. I'm just like,
Yeah.
"Wait,
what do we
Bro, end of the world. It was pretty much. Like,
Yeah.
It's like point of no return.
And
It
then
felt
it's
like,
time travel.
oh wait,
Okay.
they returned.
that's the singularity thing. Point of no return.
It's supposed to be.
Here was a point of return.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah.
Great. Now that's our answer to the singularity project. We just have to
Right.
create a time
It's
loop,
no
guys.
longer singular.
It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did kind of abandon the concept now that you mention it,
Mhm.
Mhm.
which is like a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
You asked earlier, was Diva or Vivy the nickname?
Ah, yeah. Let's go back to that. Yeah.
And names were actually a very fun mechanic in this whole thing.
Right.
Mhm.
Except for Ophelia. Shouts to Ophelia. Anyway, continue. Rip in peace, Ophelia
Well, there was
and
a lot of
Antonio.
things. So one of my favorite moments was it the bot called Matsumoto?
Matsumoto.
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 When they ask him, like he says, "What's his name?" He's like, "Oh, I just took the name of the guy who
Yeah.
created me, and
Yeah.
I just been enjoying calling myself that." We can call him Doc.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, "That
That's
is freaking
very
great!
funny.
I love that."
Shouts to
Um,
Matsumoto.
Mhm.
They did a really good job introducing that character in that way.
Yeah.
I will say that. I do love because he's clearly the character that initiated this whole thing.
Mhm.
And then you're like, okay, are we gonna you wondered as we're getting to the moment, like how do we meet this person? And like for her to be such an impactful like person to him as a child and growing up was like I was emotionally invested in that. I was
It was
like
very cute.
anyway, continue.
No, that's that. The names popped up everywhere.
Right.
In fact, there were names that they would just say like, "Wait, did you say that your name was?" And then I'm looking at Paul like, "Who was that again?"
right,
Like
right.
I forgot who was that,
Mhm.
and he's like, "It's the one who had the face." I'm like, thanks.
Yeah. right.
But there were a lot of crossovers. Like as soon as you hear the name, you're like, "Oh, you're so and so."
Right.
Names are very important.
Mhm.
You had the Stella and Elizabeth, and they called her Beth. It's
Right.
like intimacy.
Mhm.
205. That's my name, but you can call me M.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cute.
Rip in peace, Em.
God, such a sweet, sweet robot.
Yeah, honestly.
Psalm, frame 1. That guy's gonna die.
Anybody who meets him, just like, well, they're dead.
Guy's gonna die.
They're gonna die.
Yeah.
Don't get attached.
Exactly.
Let me see what else. There were so many other names that kept coming up that I was like,
Mhm.
okay, so names are super important here. Identity,
Yes.
I
Mhm.
feel like, is a big part of that. It's a big part of the conversation, right? We think of AI trying to figure out how they can be sentient and stuff, right?
What did you
And-
think about the whole heart thing? What is your purpose? how do you
How do
feel
you do something
about,
with your whole heart?
right?
Yeah.
How do you feel
put your
about
heart into
that?
something?
Like, how do you feel about, I guess, that narrative tool, I guess? Did you like it?
I have my opinions. What do you think, Rob?
Well, what are your opinions? Let me sit
Me?
on that for a second. Yeah, sure, yours.
So
anybody else? Let me sit on it.
I definitely like. So, pushes on glasses. I do, and you've heard me like talk about.
You're the only guy with glasses.
Yeah, I don't actually wear glasses.
Yeah, I know you, traitor.
Did you get LASIK?
Huh?
Did you get LASIK?
No.
Oh,
No.
Trader is
No, one of my like earliest memories of like Asher is like he would wear like fake glasses or whatever.
Yeah.
And then one day he was like, "Yeah, I don't actually need these," and I was just like,
They're purely cosmetic.
So for a while I thought he wore contacts,
Yeah.
and I was just like,
Betrayal.
Yeah.
The
top
true
10 anime
the true
betrayals.
Amogus betrayal.
I got LASIK. That's what I thought when you said Trader. It was like, oh, he watched the other side after he knew. No, I got LASIK done, but I had an ex who also wore cosmetic glasses, and it annoyed the shit out of me because I'm like, you understand how annoying this is?
Yeah, I made it a choice.
And he's like, gosh, I wish I needed glasses so I could wear these like for real. And I'm like,
no, you don't.
no, you don't. Being mostly blind is not fun. Got LASIK in case the zombie apocalypse happens. Can't go.
So I do enjoy like partaking in like the philosophy studies. I do like reading about like different philosophy ideas, and I owe that a lot of that to like a lot of my teachers that I went through like college with, and those classes that I like really loved. And so like I had a teacher who specifically really into Plato's Republic, and he used to talk about like what is a soul? What is the definition of a soul? Like, and so, you know, the types of question would be asked is like, would the AIs in this show have a soul? What is a soul? And like, yeah, I think I actually wrote it down. Yeah, here it is.
What was the phrase in Japanese that they said in terms of like what was her mission?
Oh, I don't remember. Because I was reading the subtitle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm curious because I'm wondering if you guys are using a different word than what they said in the English.
What did they say in English?
In English, they said your mission is to make people happy with your singing, and you can only do that by singing with your whole heart or something.
No, yeah, that is what they say.
It's pretty much the same.
Okay.
pretty much the
okay.
same.
So heart
Right.
and soul, the same, are synonymous.
Yeah, so I'm putting them synonymously.
Okay.
Or like I interpreted it synonymously.
No, that's
like,
fine. I just want to make sure
yeah.
we're on the same page because those can also
Right.
be considered two different
They
things.
can be. They can be.
Yeah.
And so like in my perspective, I'm like, okay, he's trying to like, and that's what made the song so important at the end was like, this was created by her of her own free will.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore she has a soul. Because so like what I know more like from what I've studied of soul, and this is only a theory, Plato's theory of soul. The soul is what gives life to the body in terms of self-motion, that which moves you, to be alive and to be capable of moving yourself. The soul is a self-mover, that which moves you. It is like you not only are you moving because like you are alive, but you are moving with the intent. You are choosing to move and to be moved. Like I said, only a theory, but like I kind of like vibe with it. You know, like I'm into like that.
Okay.
A lot of it is intent. Like having AI write it because someone programmed it to write it or like told it to write it. It is not its intent. It did not make the decision. Now the person that told it to do it, that person has a soul. But, you know, until it is specifically what Vivy did. And so like to do it with your whole heart is just like, I think it is an over exaggeration that it is simply you decided to do it. If that makes sense. I mean, she obviously had like grandiose intent behind it, but like, I think simply the act of choosing to do it, especially from her background, is a miracle enough. I viewed it as a miracle in the same way that people in the show viewed it as a miracle.
Right.
Because that shows that you have a heart in the first place.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I felt about it.
Yeah. It's like Vivy, like every time they bring up that phrase, I always think about it as like it is Vivy trying to like find emotion, right?
Right.
Or trying to find getting one step closer, like being human,
Right.
and like what is she trying to express? What is the emotion she's trying to like express to people, right?
Right.
And like I wish it was done better, but like I like the idea of that final performance.
Yeah.
Right, because it was like all these experiences that she had. She was able to like really like, okay, these are all these experiences she's lived through, and she's able to project that, right, and put it into a song. Now we could talk about like the song itself and whatnot. It's like I wish that was done better, but
sure,
the idea of like her finding that,
because the song is made out of her experience, right?
Yeah, right.
From her experience.
Right.
She literally puts the images
out there,
of
right?
her memory.
And you're kind of following along through this journey as she's singing through it,
right?
Like I love that idea,
right?
I really do. That also probably plays into like the creative part of me of like trying to like put my all into something,
right?
Find something that I love and like push that to others,
right?
And present that to others. So like there's kind of a personal feeling along with that
Right.
whole phrase.
Mm-hmm.
So like I like the idea.
Sure.
I love the idea actually.
Yeah. Execution questionable.
Missed.
Right.
Very hard one to pull off.
It's hard.
It's a big ask.
I
ask.
And I wish they nailed it.
Yeah.
I like they tried.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I will always admire a try.
Yes.
I love when
Yes.
people take the swing.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Even if you miss, it's fine.
Mhm.
Right. I'll be disappointed, but I'm happy. I'm happy you tried it.
Right.
You know, because other people would very clearly like not even attempt.
Yeah.
Mhm.
In an industry that is all about the money grab and
Right.
making bank, there's
She
too
wasn't
many
gonna make
safe
any
things.
money off of it. She was an AI, just sitting in a museum. She ain't gonna make money off. She wanted to do it on her own.
Exactly.
Too many safe things. I mean, we just got done with Overwatch,
Oh, the Overwatch
the document, or I got done with the Overwatch
I watched
documentary,
half of it.
and
so.
it cannot be helped that a lot of the bad decisions can't, like, they feel money driven. It's just like, this is safe. We
Yeah.
made Call of Duty, so just do it this way. We
Mhm.
made
Right.
this, so do it this way. You know,
Mhm.
like, and I'm like, well, I suffer because you gave me a shitty game that I wanted to love. Anyway,
Yeah.
me just fighting every fiber in my body to talk mad shit about Overwatch.
Oh,
So yeah, I don't know. Do you feel any different way, I guess, about that concept?
Yeah. Putting down my notes before I forget. Fuck, I lost it already.
oh no.
So one of them was okay. So the bot who got married, or the AI who got married.
Grace? Yes.
Yeah. You guys were talking about free will earlier.
Right.
Mm.
Would you consider that something that she did of her own free will?
That one is a wild one.
It's
Because
a hard one to say
she's
either way.
because she said her mission, right?
Yep.
And then she was like, "But I think I achieved this mission better if I choose, or if I do this with you."
She was like, she wouldn't do it with she wouldn't do it with just anybody.
But
Mhm.
also, she wouldn't just do it with anybody.
Right.
So
That was interesting, right?
So
Right.
I
that
do.
last.
Mhm.
I think that kind of differentiated it. Like, it sounded very robotic to start, and she is navigating this space
Right.
like kind of clumsily, as one person who is presented with that concept does.
Mhm.
And I think that's ultimately what makes it, a choice.
Mhm.
It was a choice there.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And then I think my other note was I'm really trying to grasp it because I had the perfect word as Rob was talking,
Oh no.
and then I lost it because I was like, I don't want to pull out my phone and write it down.
Mhm.
But I should have.
You should have pulled out the phone.
I should have. Had something to do with the phrase "put your heart into it,"
Mhm.
or "sing from your heart" or something like that.
Mhm.
But I guess the thought process is if you don't have one, you can't sing from it, or you can't pull from it.
Mhm.
And then how does can one create a soul where one didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like data, right?
Right.
Because data that can never get deleted, but it can get created.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So can you create a formula for soul? I think it's something that always comes up with music creation too in general. There's always that joke about the 4 chords, like the the 4 chord songs. You can play infinite songs with just the same 4 chords.
You can, yeah.
Actually, yesterday, Paul and I were practicing for karaoke tomorrow, and he started the music started for a song that was Nickelback. And I immediately started thinking Four Non-Blondes.
Oh yeah, I think that video. Yeah, I'm very familiar with that. Yeah, it's a classic.
Yeah,
classic YouTube video.
Well, I didn't know.
Yeah.
So so it's a thing.
Yeah.
But I hear the strumming, and I just thought, and I said, "Hey, yeah, yeah," and it was like a Nickelback song.
Right.
So it's like music is a formula. So when she was asking, I need songs written by AI. They're like, okay, yeah, there's 100,000.
Right,
It's like,
right.
no. Like, of their own. Like, not because they're programmed to do it.
Right.
None.
0.
I was like, well, yeah. If you don't tell an AI to do something,
yeah,
they won't do it.
Right.
But to do it of your own free will, that's what I was thinking. You guys were talking about, okay, free will. Zombies. Movement. Okay, the Plato description of movement.
That which moves you.
That which moves you, but your own free will.
I feel like
I think of zombies
through Jenny's mind palace right now, trying to search for that.
I thought of zombies immediately because they move. It's their own free will.
I think it is debatable whether or not zombies are choosing to move that way.
What is piloting their movements then?
Instinct, which is not a decision. We have parts of our brain that make us be like, are we going to listen to instinct and choose to act on instinct? That's the part that's choosing, but I think instinct itself is not.
That's funny because I've heard of instinct also be a denominator of what makes someone human. The fact that we can have instinct that comes from generations, heritage.
Right. But animals have that too.
Man, we're not calling animals human.
I guess, or like,
oh, man,
so,
Mabel
I mean,
doesn't love me of her
what's
own
it called? Sorry.
Mabel loves me by instinct.
I meant animals that have not displayed. Animals that have not displayed a cognizant to quote unquote choose, right? Like micro creatures, like
right. That's no. I'm not saying I disagree. I think it's just food for thought.
Oh no, it's definitely food for thought.
That instinct, like what drives something to move? And it's like to say instinct means no soul. It's like, oh, but is it though?
I mean, if it's only instinct,
right? Then that's probably right.
But also, who am I to say? Because I'm going to quote this again, and I know this is like, I fucked this quote up when I was in college, and it was the funniest thing.
Oh Lord!
But I'm going to hopefully do it just fine right now.
Mm-hmm.
If the brain were so simple, we could understand it. We would be so simple, we couldn't. So, like, yeah, I am like being very general about it, and I'm not a neuroscientist. But. And, at face value, my normie level of science understanding, that's what it feels like to me. So.
The other phrase that came to mind, too, in this conversation is art, making art.
Right.
There's the notion from Oscar Wilde, all art is selfish, is a quote from him.
So interesting. Yeah.
I think we've talked about that before.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I disagree.
I do too.
but it is an interesting.
I feel sad thinking that I'm like, oh, I'm just being self-centered. Oh, don't mind me.
I think. Yeah, I don't know. Then, if so, like, I don't know. It's an interesting. This is a whole thing.
It is. It really is.
You just like you can open up a whole can of worms with this, but
so subscribe to our Patreon.
Yeah. But in my opinion, creating art, then and if it is wholly is this argument that it's wholly selfish, like wholly, because then at that point just keep it to yourself. You know, like
a lot of people do,
but and a lot of people do, and they get satisfaction for it, but. We're not doing this podcast because we want to keep it to ourselves.
No. Otherwise, we would just hang out.
I hope someone is listening. I love the sound of my voice, but I'm not going to do this the entire time. And I love y'all's voice too, but I like to believe like this was meant to be shared. Like the way I view art is that art should be shared. To make you not feel alone. And I think that's not what I define as selfish. But
I think that's the fun thing, right? With defining art is meant to be shared. And then sometimes...
I would also... Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
It just made me think of Atomic Galaxy too, right? I had a big frustration where I felt like he ostracized his audience by making it so hard to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was like, you're... blocking off these amazing thoughts you're having too by making it so hard to understand you. Why? Like on purpose. You could have slowed that down a little bit, buddy.
No. Me whispering.
So
and smiling.
selfish.
No. Hell yeah, you awesome.
So, I mean, I remember I was talking with an old dance buddy of mine. Mm-hmm. Like, we were dancers for years. Actually, TJ, the Goldilocks, Bold Matt, he was actually best friends with this guy, too.
Mm-hmm.
I had this conversation with him where I was just like, we had been dancing for years, and then I started feeling like, I feel like dance is so selfish. I feel like it's one of the most selfish art forms. And my buddy got so mad at me for that. Like, he was like, how dare you say such a thing? Like, we have to train really hard, and we have to like display these stories with our bodies, and like we sacrifice like our mobility, and like, you know, really put ourselves in very uncomfortable positions and break our own rhythms to like get these choreographies right. And you're saying it's selfish of us? And I was like, yeah. Like we have to be center stage when we do this. We have to be like, watch us, and we have to, and then we watch, and then when it comes to dance competitions, it becomes a like, who can do these maneuvers the best, you know, like, and it's like, oh, the ones who had the most time to train and the art, like the body to train that. There are people who couldn't do these if they, you know, tried so hard. Where I was like, but people can write, people can draw, people can, yeah, that's the only two things I can think of. But they have other forms. They have other forms that they can do that are less, like, privileged in my head. Right?
Sure.
I'm thinking dance is like, God, dance is privilege. And I'm
well,
like, that makes it feel so self. I was like, dance feels.
Let's
so
be honest.
selfish.
Dance is a quote unquote higher art form. You know?
I feel like I was like, you know, there are people who are tone deaf. I wish they could sing. You know, it's like dancers. God, I wish I could like bend. I could touch my toes or something. You know,
right? Oshinoko. Remember Oshinoko?
Yeah.
Right. Her entire thing and like being like, I shouldn't be dance. It's like you have an opportunity to dance.
Right.
So do something that you've always wanted to do.
And dancing is fantastic, but as an art form, I struggled with it too. After I hit that moment, for some reason, I had that like moment. I was like, I don't think I want to dance anymore. Maybe because I also felt really bad every time I would go to a club or something, and like my boys and I would just like break dance on the floor or something. It was just like, oh well, it's their show now. Everyone else over here is over. Like,
I don't know. You shouldn't feel bad about that. Or but I get it. I guess I get that insecurity or like that thought, I guess.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't want to. My thing is like, if you ever see me doing a dance circle, I'm always pushing other people into it, saying you don't have to do what we do.
Right.
Do you?
Right.
And I will cheer you on just as hard. Actually, even
that's
harder.
me in karaoke.
Right. Karaoke is not about.
I lose it if y'all are doing karaoke.
The more you see somebody singing into a song that they love, I mean, I still
they let go. There's something cathartic about like that. Just what if you didn't care? What if you just sang because you liked it?
And then everyone else sings along with you too, because
there's something about it.
Love that.
A magic to it. So I don't know.
But yeah,
there is something funny about describing Vivy's pivotal moment as self. Kind of funny. Like Vivy singing on that stage to save everyone as selfish, describing it that way. It's kind of funny. Not like gut-bustingly funny. And I guess I could kind of see it because like everything came from her own personal memory and stuff like that. But that is its own discussion.
Yeah.
That's
I'm just picturing like, what if those scenes were like playing on like a big screen while she's singing, and the audience would just like looking at me like it'd be like a bad karaoke video.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening in the background?
Right.
And there's like someone's like, you know, getting hit by a car, and there's that dramatic scene.
That child just died?
And you're like trying to sing Britney Spears. Like,
right.
Hit me, baby, one more time. What happened? My lonely man is killed. Is he dead? Killing me and I.
But yeah, it's, I don't know. That's an interesting discussion. It always is. Like do you think this anime had to be music, or could it be just as good or better just as good or better if it was like a different art form, like pottery?
I mean, I would absolutely watch like Pottery Terminator. Would be amazing. Absolutely amazing. Actually. Right. It's like, all right. The fucking ultimate moment is like them on stage and they have to make this clay pot.
They got the spin wheel.
As the memories of like their whole experiences are playing behind them, and they're just like forming this pot right here.
Right.
Bro,
I mean, I was just curious.
To make the ultimate pot to save humanity.
I mean, it makes sense why they went with this.
It makes sense. Like, could they have done something else? Sure.
And they clearly have a passion.
They were so strong on the audio part of things.
Right. They have a passion for the audio.
Around
it really was.
Being about music.
They made a different OP for every arc.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that says somebody...
Tougher to incorporate pottery into cinema.
I'm here for it, though.
I'm
honestly. I'm already picturing it. I'm like, okay.
That's incredible. That's so funny.
And she's using the skills that she's learned from pottery.
Yeah.
It
could be beautiful.
Bro. It would
Somebody
be a beautiful pot.
Right? Oh my god, I can't with y'all. All right. Is there anything else that we want to touch on, or case closed on Vivy? The Fluorite Eyes song.
Shout out to Flourite.
No, I think that covers it.
I think we hit.
All right.
Yeah.
So, I will now pick my next anime. I know that Zach redeemed for the charity clash.
Yes.
I picked my next anime.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Zach, I had already locked in this one, and yours will be after. So expect that, Zakupu. Don't worry, haven't forgotten you. This one is an interesting one because I had already been thinking of doing it for a long time.
Okay.
But I kind of wanted to follow up with this because I was kind of jump started with it because somebody spoke so passionately about it at the panel when we were asking for recommendations from anime. Right. And so it's been a long time coming.
Oh.
I know my sister will want to watch this with me. So Princess Jellyfish is the next one.
Let's go.
You've seen Princess Jellyfish? You have? You have not.
I have not.
But you won't be with us for the next episode.
I won't. I will not be there the next episode, but I'll see if I can find time to watch it on my own anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just out of curiosity, because you're right. That person at the panel did speak so passionately about it, and honestly, the artworks look kind of fun.
Yeah.
So
very cute looking. So very excited to get into it because like my sister. The last time my sister did something like this, where she had been bugging me for years to watch something, there's two. There's the case of two, and both I obsessively fell in love with.
Oh.
One was Love Life. Thanks for that one, and Madoka Magica. Mm-hmm. So sister doesn't miss. It just kind of takes me notoriously. I don't know why it takes me a while to get to them, but now.
Hey, it's your own free will, Ash.
It is. Yeah. It is. And now
so
I have to.
We can affirm he's human.
He is
right.
human.
Okay.
I made the choice to watch
Not
Princess
instinct.
Jellyfish.
It wasn't instinct.
It wasn't instinct.
No.
Actually, the opposite instinct.
No. No. So I'm very excited to watch it. And yeah, hopefully it's good.
Hopefully.
You know, it's certainly a gear shift from Vivy.
Oh yeah. Different direction.
Is it though?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I guess I don't
haven't
know.
seen it. I have no idea.
Anyway,
Jellyfish Terminator.
where can people find you, Rob?
You can find me on the internet at Zenosuke, Zenosuke.
Mm-hmm.
Obsessing over Musume and people that are playing Musume. Shout outs to Rupa's voice actress, sure.
Right.
That's about it. Yeah. Oh wait, no. You can also find me on Asher's stream playing Lorelei and the Laser Eyes.
Yeah, we're almost done.
We're almost done with that game.
Yeah, I think.
We should be.
I feel like we say that every time.
One more stream.
And then we get stumped on this puzzle. We're just like, okay.
One more stream.
I'm surprised you didn't mention Gamescast. Shout out to Silk Song.
Shout outs to Silk Song.
Anyway, where can people find you, Jenny?
For the next month on military duty. But actually, come August, I do have an event that I'll be at UNF running a booth at their tech conference that they're having August 29th. And then right after that, DragonCon!
DragonCon will be tight.
Yeah.
One of my favorite cities, Atlanta.
Yeah, ATL's great.
I still have never been to a DragonCon.
Me
This
is
either.
my first time.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I've heard really good things.
I always hear it's a fun event.
If
Yeah.
you want to find me, I will be running around dressed as Chillchuck from Delicious in Dungeon,
Hell yeah.
Love that.
handing out jewel bugs.
Oh, shout out to the Jewel Bugs.
Yeah, shout out to jewel bugs. And I think that's about it. Yep.
Hell yeah. And then me, you can find me at Pinoy Grigio, Pinoy_Grigio, TTV, Twitch, where I stream games like Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. I'm currently on the Kingdom Hearts grind. I'm going to be more scheduled now that the charity clash is over and I don't have to deal with that. I say deal with it. I loved it. And it was absolutely worth it. But it certainly frees up my schedule to be consistent, which will be like Kingdom Hearts on Mondays. I'm going to pick a day for Fatal Frame, pick a day for Metal Gear. And I also, because of the incentives, at some point have to do a cooking stream, cosplay stream. No idea what I'm going to do about that. And then a 12-hour stream. So stay tuned for that. You can also find me on Twitter. And you can find me on Instagram. At some point, there will be an Instagram page for a bearded dragon that I'm going to own in time. So new member of the JSB family. But you won't hear about that for like another month. So yeah, that's it, I think. So let's bye-bye. My best AI, bye-bye. Bye.